All right. Yeah, so let's see. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit more detail back here. And one thing that I think we should do is if we modify this side, we should propagate those changes over to the other side, just so we don't have something kind of offset. I think that would, or different from one side to the other. I think that'll be even more noticeable than a little bit faceting. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use the regular poly operation stuff for this. So I'm going to hide the high poly. You can see when I get rid of that thing, how obvious, especially right in here, that faceting is. Like there, it's not that bad. There, I think it looks great. That's fine. That's actually plenty round enough. But yeah, we've got that like flat surface right there. So that's no good. So let's go ahead and just grab some of those edges. These are the ones that I'm going to be working with. And actually not even that one. Although that might help with the surface curvature calculation. So let me just go to connect, go to the options. This is the mesh tools version. Sorry, it is the edit mesh version that I want. So we've got this insert with edge flow option. If I have that disabled, it'll just add that edge as is. But if I have it enabled, you'll see it actually adds a little bit of that curvature in. And since we're here anyway, let's go ahead and maybe do the same thing there. Great. Okay, so now we just need to terminate these guys basically. So I'm just going to grab this vert, tap the V key. We do have live on, so I want to turn that off. And then we've got this one and that edge, and I'll just go to edit mesh connect. So now we've got everybody nice and terminated, although you can see I forgot to grab that last edge. That's not going to work. So let me try that again. We'll hit apply, grab the verts, and do a connect on them. And that's going to be almost fine. Maybe that didn't take last time. All right. So now we've got this updated geo on the back. Let me just take a look at what's going on the other side here. Because it's probably simple enough that I can just chop all this stuff off. So I'm doing a control shift, which will add to the selection rather than invert it. And we don't have any of that, the inside faces, so unfortunately I'm going to have to rebuild those as well. But that's not a big deal. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab those faces, which should line up pretty closely with that open edge there. And we're going to do an extract. So we'll just go to extract. So now I have two different pieces of geometry. I'm going to go ahead and just hit Control D on that, and we'll do another basically a negative scale. Open up the channel box, set that to, sorry, -1 in X. And then we'll go ahead and freeze the transforms. Do a combine, and now that they're combined, we can do a merge so that all those verts get merged in. We can just go ahead and combine this as well. And we'll do another merge. So I've got to rebuild the these back faces here, so I think I can do that pretty easily just with the bridge tool. And maybe where we added that stuff, I'm going to need to do a little bit more tinkering, but probably not. So I'm just going to double click that open hole and we'll go to fill hole there. And then we can try something like this. Basically just bridge that. And then do a fill hole, and I'm going to go ahead and just connect this stuff up. So here you can see we have lots of triangles going to that one little spot, which is something that I said you should avoid, but we don't get a good shot of the inside of this, so it's hard to see it. In fact, I think there might be a piece of plastic in there or something, so you actually can't see it, so it's completely fine. This is, I believe, a vertical surface, so if I wanted to, I could probably just make some adjustments back here, even though it's not super important. It's kind of my little OCD. I just kind of like to have things organized as much as possible. But if there was some kind of an angle on that, I would not want to use the transform in its current configuration. I would probably want to double click on the move tool And then in the constraints, you can just select edge. And if you have edge selected on, you can't actually, it'll always, no matter what you do, it'll just stick to that face. So that's a great feature, but just remember to turn it off when you're done, because otherwise it'll totally mess up everything else that you're trying to do. Okay, so now this side, we can go ahead and say back to, that's fine. We got that nice round stuff back there supported. We didn't have to add too many faces. But our outliner's a little bit screwed up right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just show everything. I'm going to select it all, and then we'll go to delete the history. So that's nice and clean. So that one remembered its name, but I imagine the low poly associated with it probably did not. Yeah. So I'll move that one up there, and then same thing over here. We didn't mess with the high, but we definitely modified its associated low poly. And then what's this one? Okay, so there's our little screw things. We can maybe look at that next, but I still need to do the inside surface of the low side here. So we'll go to display and hide unselected. That clearly did not work. Let me try that again. There we are. So I actually need to make my the high poly on this side visible so I can get this stuff here. Although I can maybe show you a little bit of a trick for that. We'll make it live, and then I'm going to grab these edges. And you can see that thing is circular because it knows it's going to be sticking to the surface. And then I'm just going to do an extrude. Set my transform back to the regular thing, and then I'm just going to scoot this back. So we can basically duplicate all of those edges, and you can see once I get to a certain point, it's not going to let me go any further because it's like stuck to the surface, which is a nice little time saver there. Although now we're going to need to grab these verts down here and just make sure they're welded. In fact, we can just grab them all. There's no reason for any of these to not be welded. Cool. All right. So let's hop over into Quadra Mode. See what we got. This one should be a little easier because there's a whole lot less stuff, although we do have all of these little sections over here. And I'm just going to get real aggressive with collapsing them. So kind of get them collapsed here, and then I'll organize them. So the first generation, I'm basically just doing every other one. So I think I just grabbed the edge there instead of the face. So you can see we get a happy accident of sorts as these being collapsed line up pretty conveniently with those top edges up there. So it will actually create a triangle if you've got a gap there that is triangular in shape, but I think it'll complain. And again, I'm kind of looking like what's going on. Probably do something like that. And because there just really aren't as many features kind of interrupting the edge flow, we can just do something simple and connect these insides. Although now we've got this little circle thing over here, which is gonna cause some drama. You can see it's kind of confused. I guess I've got this little point up there. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. So I'm just going to go into regular geo mode here. Go ahead and hide this thing. I'm going to bridge some edges. See what I can get away with. It's probably okay, and then we'll grab this one. Alright, so this I'm going to have to pop on the visibility for the high poly. Whoops, I just added divisions, which is not the button I meant to push. And now I'm going to go back to Quadra, so we can easily just create some geo based on what the surface is doing. Well, it looks like we got something weird going on there. Just going to go into regular geo mode and we'll delete that face. And then I'm going to grab a vert and this one down there, and we'll just do a quick connect. Maybe not. Oh, there's probably not a face there. You can't connect across a face that doesn't exist. So we'll do a bridge instead. And then I'm going to have an open hole there, so I can just go to mesh fill hole. And let's see, let's go ahead and turn off. So we can see we've got this last little space there. Easily take care of that. And I know this video went a little bit long, but hey, look at that. Right side, mostly done. You probably organize this a little bit better. That's a little ugly back there, but it's not so bad. Okay, cool. We will pick this up in the next video.